Composting. Whether it's a homeowner doing it in their backyard or a company's large-scale operation, the goal is to create valuable soil amendments and slow the expansion of landfills. Composting, on any scale, is the process in which organic material is broken down by microorganisms in the presence of oxygen to a point where it can be safely stored, handled, and applied to the environment. Composting is primarily done in two techniques: active, where the waste is turned to help expedite the process, and passive, where the waste is not moved. Compost bins used by homeowners take on many forms and can vary from piles, wire mesh, pallets, or even brick structures. The Solid Waste Group investigated how New Albany could incorporate a higher degree of composting leaf litter within its own community. 3 alternatives were considered. First, educating and encouraging private homeowners to start their own compost bins. 2, working in conjunction with the schools to start and operate a compost program on the school campus. And 3, a municipally operated and funded composting facility. Currently, due to popular demand by residents, the New Albany Service Department picks up leaves that residents rake to the curb with their leaf vacuum that attaches to a truck. New Albany then transports the leaves to a Kurtz Brothers facility in Westerville. Kurtz Brothers does not charge a tipping fee. Travel time from New Albany to Kurtz Brothers varies greatly but averages at 15 miles and 30 minutes travel time round trip. From there, Kurtz Brothers transfers the dropped-off leaves to their composting facility in Groveport. Currently, there are no known residents within the village of New Albany that operate private compost bins. There are many hurdles to private composting, including homeowner restrictions, small yards, education, and buy-in. None of the existing homeowners associations could be contacted for comment, but it is believed that the possibility of deed restrictions and/or covenants could hinder a composting venture. Since New Albany plans subdivisions with small yards and large public areas, many residents do not have or may not be willing to give any available land for composting. Additionally, properties that do have land available likely have setbacks and/or easements on their property prohibiting a compost bin. Lastly, it is likely that no citizens are composting because they do not know how. Education will be critical to ensure citizens compost correctly so that no negative externalities, such as odors, are felt by neighbors. The village government currently has no ordinances or property maintenance codes that would prohibit a resident from composting. The second alternative investigated to increase leaf litter composting in New Albany was implementing a small-scale compost site on the school campus for educating students and the general public. Interviews with school administration officials revealed that while the school district is supportive of sustainable methods such as composting, they already have sustainable practices in place, like a pilot teacher food waste compost program, mulching dead leaves, and not collecting grass clippings. Any student involvement needs to be done within the context of the curriculum and the learning outcomes that they need to achieve. Due to these limitations, using the school campus as ground zero for increasing the entire community's composting efforts does not seem feasible. Finally, the possibility of creating a village-operated compost facility was investigated and revealed positive results. The amount of leaves collected annually would warrant a 2-acre site for composting. Since New Albany Service Department already collects all the leaves from residents and transports them to a facility in Westerville, transporting the leaves to a local compost facility would result in less transportation time and would not interrupt or change the service residents know and expect. The recommended method for composting is windrows that would measure 6 feet wide and 4 feet high. New Albany would have to buy a windrow turner attachment for a tractor at a cost of approximately $15,000. Purchasing land is another necessary cost with this project. Currently, the village does not own a sufficient amount of land for such a facility, and purchasing new property would be necessary. The Bevelheimer property, south of the service facility, is a preferable site due to its size, location to the service facility, and surrounding atmosphere. Much of the surrounding land is used for farming, making compost windrows a good fit for the area. Once the land and equipment is purchased, the operating cost should be very low. The Bevelheimer property makes up 5 acres of land, and since it is so close to the existing service facility, no new buildings would need to be created to store the composting equipment. Composting is regulated by the Ohio Environmental Protection Agency and only requires a Class 4 permit, the lowest scrutiny permit. This permit is free, and the only major regulation is that the facility has to be 200 feet away from waters of the state. The Bevelheimer property meets this requirement. The entire composting process would take approximately 9 months. The windrows were required to be turned at least once a week in order for no smells to be created by the compost. Turning all the windrows once should take no more than 4 hours. Once completed, the finished product could be sold in bulk by the village to nearby golf courses, used on public parks, or given free to residents. The village currently budgets $2,000 for buying topsoil and mulch back from Kurtz Brothers annually, and this money could be potential savings with the municipally operated compost facility. Currently, no other municipality in Central Ohio owns and operates its own composting facility. New Albany would be the first and make itself the model for the rest of Central Ohio. Implementing this initiative would help bolster New Albany's stance as being environmentally friendly.